once it shows that it's starting, I'll start talking. Just a sec. Alright, sorry for the 20-second delay, guys, but I'm back with another APUSH term review. I know I just made one yesterday, but it helps me study for APUSH since I have it on the day after tomorrow now, like less than 2 days now. So I'm gonna be preparing. I'm preparing along with you guys. I actually just wrote a practice DBQ today, and I decided I'd do a little bit of term review from the progressive era, and obviously I put this on for the 2020 year, and it's going to be relevant to that year. So check these out. Alright, so let's get right into it. We got amendments 16 through 19. This is going to be a bit of a shorter video than normal. I'm not going to make this too long. It might end up being long. If it is, I'm sorry about that. I just want to give you the best possible information, but I'm going to try to make this a bit shorter. There aren't as many terms. So basically Amendment 16 through 19. The 16th Amendment, I put them in order right there. Remember it as income tax. It should say income tax, but income tax is the 16th Amendment, basically what it is. 17th Amendment, we're going to go with senators, and this is direct election of senators. That's what it specifically means. That means the people are electing the senator, where it would normally be, I believe, the state government was the format prior. You have this 18th Amendment, and this one is for alcohol, and this, what it does is it puts a prohibition, it bans alcohol. And the reason this came about, this is a pretty important one to remember. You can remember things like the WCTU, Women's Christian Temperance Union. You can remember people like Carrie Nation, who was a very staunch temperance advocate, and many others. The main concern was that women and children would get beat by their husbands because men would normally be coming home drunk, and that's why many women were part of the temperance movement. And it showed that women were a strong political force even without suffrage, which is actually the next amendment, which we see, the 19th Amendment, and we do see later that the Prohibition movement is repealed pretty soon after. 1933, I believe, is the 21st Amendment, which repeals the 18th Amendment for temperance. And so because of that, people are allowed to drink, but women's suffrage is still around. Women are allowed to vote, obviously, and so therefore these are some of the major progressive era results. These kind of come after the progressive era, some of them do, but the main part about them is that they are they're more as like an effect of the progressive era. That's the main thing. You could say they're part of it. We got the Pure Food and Drug Act, and this was passed in the early 1900s, and this also was passed with the Meat Inspection Act. They weren't passed at the same time, I believe, but pretty close. Pure Food and Drug Act made basically you need to make food safe. It's basically like you shouldn't have weird things in food, and it should be clean, and they have to be state inspected and approved. Meat Inspection Act does this for meat, and you have Upton Sinclair's The Jungle and Upton Sinclair's Muckraker, which I'll get into more later. You have The Jungle, which is the book that she wrote, and it's regarding, and it provides a lot of the reason, the kind of exposure for the people to kind of go into this idea. Just a second, guys. Sorry about that. Just need to close the door. Alright, so next We have Muckrakers, and here are just 4 of them. I mentioned Upton Sinclair earlier, and basically what Muckrakers were, they were people who would report on social issues during the Gilded Age, which is the period that was just before the Progressive Era. And these are the people who kind of brought about the ideas during the Progressive Era. You see Ida B. Wells, who is an African American woman, and she mostly talks about lynching. She's very anti-lynching. Ida B. Tarbell, Standard Oil. She constantly was attacking Rockefeller's Standard Oil. And you have Jacob Riis. He focuses on immigrants and labor conditions. He's mainly a photographer, and he took a lot of photos. And since on the AP exam they confirmed that one of the documents will be some sort of image or a map or a cartoon, it's very possible that if it's regarding the Progressive Era or the Gilded Age, that it could be an image of Jacob Riis. So he's a good one to know. And we have Upton Sinclair, and as I mentioned earlier, Meatpacking. She wrote The Jungle, and it's a book that talks about the horrors and the disgusting meatpacking industry. And since meat is a very big commodity in America, even at that time, this affected a lot of people and it made a lot of people angry. Yeah, so those are some of the major muckrakers during this time. One thing I did hear is that it's pretty easy to get confused between the two Idas. Ida B. Wells, you'll probably use. It's more likely that you'll use her in a DBQ. Um, uh, if you want to differentiate them, Ida B. Tarbell, she has Standard Oil, tar oil. You can kind of remember it like that. And she goes against Standard Oil, by the way. She doesn't support it. And the basic idea of muckrakers, I think I mentioned this earlier, is basically to report on the horrors. Not horrors, that's not the right word, but like the problems of the Gilded Age. And many of these problems would be some of the main issues that the progressives would be dealing with. And so this kind of laid the foundations for the progressive era. They didn't really fix any of these issues, but they kind of brought the awareness of these issues. That's what muckrakers really were. And they were during the Gilded Age, so you could mention them as like a cause of the progressive era. We have the Federal Reserve Act, which was basically a more centralized way of managing the nation's wealth and keeping managing banking to prevent another panic. About, I believe, 20 years prior, the Panic of 1893 happened, and this was due to overproduction. And so I guess my best guess would be that they didn't want a repeat of that, and so they wanted to do as much as possible to make sure that stopped. One interesting nuance to this that you could potentially put in complexity for a DBQ is that so this was passed in 1913, which is during Woodrow Wilson's presidency, and Woodrow Wilson is a Democrat, by the way. He's a progressive Democrat. But the thing about the Democrat Party in general at this time is that they're still very much under Jacksonian and Jeffersonian democracy. They have that idea still. I mean, obviously there are going to be some changes, but they very much have this idea that of the common man and supporting him. And so, if you guys remember from the Jacksonian era, Jackson was very much against centralizing wealth in a single federal bank. Jackson was very much against that, and he made most of the ideas that would be continued in the Democratic Party, even at the time of Wilson, which is when this act was passed. And so this is an interesting nuance if you're looking at the political spectrum. Maybe if the DBQ is on that, I don't know what the DBQ is on, but if it's on that, you could definitely bring this up, assuming it's in the time period. Alright, these are, I believe, the last things I have. Recall, referendum, and initiative. So basically, there's three things that were passed, and these gave more power to the people. Just blatantly, you can mention any one of these. They aren't usually stated together like this. It's not an acronym or anything. I just put them together because they kind of fall under the same line. So they both give more power to the people. So you have people can vote to recall a senator, that's recall. Referendum, people can hold a public vote to repeal state legislature by bypassing, and they can bypass the normal state government, which would normally be in charge of this. Initiative, you can hold a public vote and bypass state government, and you can enact your own. So let's say the public wants to bring up a new act. They can do that. If they want to bring down an act, they can also do that. If they want to take down one of their state senators, they can also do that. And they can do all of this while bypassing the state gov. I know I didn't mention it for recall, but that's there too. Anyway, I believe that is the end of the terms. If you believe I should add more terms, less terms, something completely different, please leave some feedback. Maybe if you want some images. I didn't put any images this time. I didn't get any comments, but like, if you guys want to see it, let me know. And I tried to keep this video a little shorter today. I'm in a bit of a time crunch, as almost always. AP exams. I got 2 in 2 days from now. Either way, good luck on your A-Push exam. I know I need that luck too. The progressive error test, or whatever you're watching this video for, let's say you're in 2021 and you have a progressive error test, please leave feedback. I would really want that. And leave a like, subscribe for more content, and I'll try to make it better. I know Google Slides is not the best. So either way, please leave a like, subscribe, leave some feedback in the comment section, and good luck to whatever you're watching this video for. Thank you.